Hey guys, it's Isleny. I'm back with another video. So I wanted to take advantage and do this video because I kind of want you guys to get to know me a little better, especially since I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. So I kind of wanted to share a little bit about myself that I feel has a lot to do with who I am. So I wanted to do these pregnancy videos and these labor and delivery stories because my experience was completely different from any other experience that I personally saw on YouTube or I personally saw on a blog or wherever it is that I came across the information. My pregnancy story was completely different. So I figured that I would do this video and I would just kind of tell you guys a little bit about my story. So let's get started.
Show us the ultrasound.
He's still there. That little baby boy. He has a lot of hair and his legs are like really chunky.
Chunky legs. Very hairy.
Big old pee-pee.
Big old pee-pee.
I found out that I was pregnant the first time shortly after I got married. So my husband and I got married in April of 2015 and I got pregnant in November of 2015. So we got pregnant very quickly. Now, keep in mind, rewinding a little bit, ever since I can remember, I always told everybody that would listen to me that I wanted children. Oh my goodness. Everybody in my family, everybody at my school, my teachers. Every time we talked about anything, somehow the conversation would veer back to how I want to have a huge family. So my dad is one of 12 brothers and sisters, and apart from those 12 brothers and sisters, my grandfather had a whole other family, and there are 6 others on the opposite side. So my dad comes from a big family. Me and my family were very close. So I think that the first pregnancy that I ever experienced, I guess, firsthand, of witnessing the entire process, and then my cousin giving birth was a cousin of mine. Her name is Jackie, and my little cousin Jaslyn was probably the first cousin that I ever, I don't know, I was obsessed with the pregnancy. I wanted to know everything that happened to her. I remember when she was going into labor, I was there at her house, and I think from then on I was kind of a little traumatized to the idea of what having children was like, because her labor and delivery story was ridiculous and it was so scary, and she was screaming bloody murder. So I was like, yeah, that doesn't look fun. So I don't know if I want to do that ever in life. So it was just an up and down. So when I met my husband, we talked about it almost immediately, because we met at a youth group at church, and we always talked about a bunch of different things at a youth group, and we kind of touched on the topic in the beginning, and that was something that we were always in sync. We always knew that we wanted to have a lot of children. We wanted to have a big family, and I don't mean a lot exaggeratedly 10 or 20 children, but obviously with the economy the way that it is, and with all the factors that you parents that are already parents know, children are expensive, children are exhausting, children are a lot of your time, and as much as you love them, it's very, very tiring to have kids, especially after the first one. We found that out very quickly. So we always knew that we wanted to have a relatively big family. So that's something that we always had in common, and I think that helped a lot with our relationship, is that we always had more or less the same goals, the same focus. So when we got married, we already knew that we were meant to have children eventually, and I guess you could say we weren't being very safe. And when I found out that I was pregnant with my very first son, I was ecstatic. So when I first found out I was pregnant, I was getting out of work. I was late on my period, so I decided that I was going to take a test. With my cycle, I've always been very irregular, so I was like, it could just be that I'm very irregular, but since we weren't playing it safe, I was like, let me just be safe and take a test. So I go to Walmart, I get the test. I go to the bathroom at Walmart because I couldn't even wait to get home to take the test. I take the test in Walmart, and when I take the test and I see that very, very, very faint positive line, I just about died. I was so scared and nervous and excited and anxious, and I don't think I knew what to feel, because it's one thing to say that you want kids, and then when you see that positive pregnancy test, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. So when I saw that positive pregnancy test, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to call. I didn't know whether I should tell my husband right away, whether I should go to the doctor first. There were so many things going through my mind, and I was like, obviously I have to tell my husband. So I decided to tell him in a very, very cute way because I wanted it to be somewhat special. It was our first baby, and it was literally like 3 days after it was like 2 days after his birthday that I found out I was pregnant. My husband's birthday is on the 21st of November, and I found out I was pregnant on the 23rd of November. So I was like, what? So I had just thrown my husband a surprise party with the youth group. I threw him a surprise party with a nonprofit organization that we run called Isleny Erazo. And then I kind of had like a little family thing where we took him out to dinner. So I decided that this was just going to be another present that I was getting him. So what I did was I got an envelope and I bought little baby socks, which I have them. I should have thought about this before I started filming this video. I have all of this, like my first pregnancy test and the whatever, but I have a video to show you. So just take a look at how I told him.
3 surprises. Youth group, Isleny Erazo, and that thing at the restaurant.
Okay, we'll open it quick.
I think that was enough. This is like the hardest thing ever. I can't open it. I have to wait until we get inside and I get scissors.
No, you have to open it right here, right now.
In 800 feet, turn left onto Essex Street.
What do you think about your present?
What does this mean?
What does it say? What does it say? What does it say?
I don't think these gonna fit me.
What does it say? Let me see it. What does it say? What does it say?
Is this real?
That's what I said. So yeah, so that's how he found out. He just about died. Like he didn't know how to react. He was flustered. You saw his face when he saw that little positive line. It was adorable. So it was a very, very touching moment that we had. And we kind of decided that we didn't want to tell anybody until I went to the doctor. So I made an appointment with my doctor like immediately. Like I saw my nurse the next day. I took the test. We found out I was pregnant. Thanksgiving was coming up the next week. So we said that we're going to tell everybody on Thanksgiving Day that I'm pregnant. So Thanksgiving rolls around. I tell everybody that I'm pregnant. And then I finally post to my social media almost immediately because they say that you should wait until 12 weeks, but y'all don't know me. I could not wait an hour. As soon as we told our parents, and basically it all just kind of went crazy from there because I was so excited that I could not stop posting. So my first post on social media, which was this post right here, my first post on social media was basically just me holding the pregnancy test, and then I had this app to like track your pregnancy. So I downloaded the apps and I basically just took a screenshot of how far along I was. I think I was like 6 or 7 weeks. The picture's here, you can see it. So I downloaded the app. I plugged everything into the app, the dates and everything that the provider said and everything that we were kind of calculating because it goes by your last menstrual cycle. So we plugged everything into the app and I posted it on Instagram and I shared it through like all my social media pages. And we were so euphoric when we found out that we were pregnant that I tell you that I did not get sick at all. The first couple of weeks they said that we were gonna be like, you know, expect morning sickness or whatever. I did not feel nauseous. I had no food aversions. Everything was like really, really, really great throughout like my entire pregnancy. And I didn't have any cravings. I tell you that I was so upset because I'm a person that I love to eat. For those of you that know me, I can eat. Like my coworker, Marie says, she says that I eat like a sumo wrestler in training because I eat so much. Throughout my pregnancy, I was like watching my diet. I completely cut soda out of my diet with my first pregnancy because I was traumatized that my baby was gonna come out like defective if I drank too much soda, because I used to drink like 3 to 4 bottles of soda a day. So I was like, I'm not gonna drink any more soda. I'm not going to eat any junk food. And that was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. I eat and I eat and I eat and I eat. And with my first pregnancy, I was more like paranoid that I was gonna do some damage to my baby. I didn't want my baby to be like a big, fat, cheesy, ugly baby. So I was like, I need to take care of myself. Although you should really start taking care of yourself before your pregnancy. So if you're planning on getting pregnant, they tell you to take prenatals and to like prep your body and to make sure that you're healthy, and age matters. So I was 27 years old when I got pregnant with my first baby. They say that between the ages of 25 and 32 are like the prime ages for you to get pregnant. Whatever all that scientific jargon is for you to wait until a certain age to have a baby. But I was so excited. So I cut out soda, I cut out junk food, and I dropped like 15 pounds within the first 2 months of my pregnancy. So I was really worried. I spoke with my provider and I let them know that I lost like such a significant amount of weight. And she's like, well, it could be the morning sickness. And I said, well, I don't have morning sickness, so it's not that. And she said, well, have you changed your diet? And I was like, significantly. So she said that it had a lot to do with the way that I changed my diet, that I was still perfectly healthy. I was still at a weight where I was, when I got pregnant, I was 132 pounds. So I was still within my weight area. I was thin-ish, I guess you could say, because I was still not heavy, but I was thick, you know, so I don't know, I was fine. So the provider said that I was very, very good with my weight. As I was going to my appointments, I started getting more and more excited and more and more excited. We had an event and I bought this like maternity outfit. I was so excited. It was this pink maternity outfit that was really, really cute. And I was just so happy with my pregnancy, with myself. My husband just kept telling me that I was glowing and he was so excited. And my pregnancy actually went very, very well. So the first trimester, I did wonderfully well. I passed with flying colors, everything. When we went to go figure out whether it was a boy or a girl, I tell you that I was never so nervous in my life. My husband really, really wanted a girl, although he wasn't opposed to the idea of having a boy, but he was hashtag team girl. And I always wanted a boy, always. I grew up without a mom, and I hear that boys are always super attached to their moms. So I was like, this is what I need in my life. I need somebody that's gonna be super attached to me. So I always wanted a boy. So secretly I was like, please let it be a boy. I want a boy. And I want my daughters to have a big brother. God ever blesses me with a daughter, I always wanted her to have an older brother. Because I always dreamed of having an older brother. I don't know why. I mean, now I've got 2 older brother-in-laws, which is pretty awesome. But I always wanted to have an older brother. So I was like, please let it be a boy. I want it to be a boy. So when we went to the ultrasound for the gender reveal, we did like a whole gender reveal like spiel. So I'm going to put the link here to the gender reveal video if you guys want to go and check out the gender reveal video. We literally spent like forever making that video, but we found out it was a boy, and it was such an amazing feeling. Like you have no idea how much I was crying. Like I was crying and I was so excited. And the anatomy ultrasound was so overwhelming because she did not tell us the gender until the end of the ultrasound. And I was like, get to it already. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? What is it? And I tell you that my son's parts were not hidden at all. This kid had no shame. So we had no doubt that it was a boy. We did the ultrasound. We showed my mother-in-law the ultrasound, and it was nuts. It was intense. Like, oh my God, we were so excited. It was such an amazing moment for us to find out that it was a boy. Now, when we got a little bit after that, I was like 6 or 7 months pregnant, and I don't know, I was feeling really, really good, but then my feet started to swell and they started to hurt, and it was like such an intense pain that I had in my feet. I would come home from doing all of the errands that I had to run throughout the day and doing a bunch of stuff, and I don't know if there's a word more than exhausted. I'm gonna look it up in the dictionary because I was so tired. That's the only like side effect that I had with my pregnancy. Like I was tired. I was lugging around this belly. Like I was so thin when I got pregnant. I was so thin when I got pregnant that when I was pregnant, I was like pregnant. Like look at this picture from when I was like 38 weeks pregnant. I was huge. I was the size of a house. And it was funny because I started showing early on. I was like 4 or 5 months pregnant, not even 3-4 months pregnant. And you could tell that I was pregnant. Like I was pregnant. So when I got to the end of my pregnancy, my mother-in-law used to look at me and she was like, Isleny, it is so painful to look at you because I was so big. I carried very, very big. So I was so tired. And with pregnancy, I didn't expect, well, of course I expected to have like morning sickness and cravings and whatever, but I wasn't expecting to feel so, I don't even know the name for that feeling. It's just, that's it. That's the only way that I could describe it. So when I first felt the baby move for the first time, I will never forget. It felt like somebody was tickling me on the inside. It was like a little, they call it flutters, where I didn't know whether I was having like a rumbly in my tumbly, whether I was like hungry, because you know when your stomach goes raw and you can kind of feel it on the inside. Well, I didn't know whether it was that or whether it was gas. Yeah. Or whether it was gas or whether I was feeling, I don't know, just ill. But it started kind of feeling like that. And then one day I was lying down and I very specifically felt my son like do this. Literally like the shimmy. Like I felt his whole shoulders do this. And I was freaked out. My husband was sitting next to me and I was like, the baby's moving. My husband was like, what? Let me feel. And he put his hands on my stomach and he couldn't feel him because the baby was moving on the inside. In the very beginning stages, when you first feel your baby move or kick or make any kind of movement, you can't let other people feel it because only you can feel it like on the inside. I tell you that my ultimate favorite part of being pregnant was that connection that I had with my son. Like, it's like we had a little secret because I was sitting at the dinner table and then out of nowhere he would be like, "Choo-choo-choo-choo." And I was like, nobody knows but me. I was like, you can kick in there, you can kick in there. I was so excited all the time. Every time he was moving around, I would grab my husband's hand and I would put him on my belly and I was like, can you feel him? Can you feel him? And he was like, no, I don't feel anything. I felt so bad until the day came where he went and my husband was like, I felt it. And I was so excited. And I remember it to this day because the day that he felt him kick for the very first time was the day before my birthday. And I was so excited. You would not even believe how excited I was because we were already like, I was really pregnant. In April, I was December, January, February, March, April. I was like 5 months pregnant. That's the first time he ever felt him kick was the day before my birthday. My birthday's on the 18th. So he felt him kick and we were super excited. We felt so much more connected to our baby because we could both feel him and you could start seeing him already. Like you could see like little V's on my tummy. It was like, so you could see it a little bit. Oh my God, it was amazing. And it was so much fun while we were documenting all of that because for my son, I have this pregnancy book. So I have this pregnancy journal that I bought for both my boys. I like literally kept track of everything. And look, all of his ultrasounds. Very first ultrasound, because it's literally just a blob on my uterine lining. But it says baby Erazo. I was ridiculously excited. All the ultrasounds we got. Literally like days worth of ultrasounds. Listen, this lady, her name was Peggy, that she was my ultrasound tech for both my boys. Her name was Peggy. And when we would go to these appointments and she would see how excited my husband and I was, she could not help but print out literally like every freaking picture she took of my son. She literally printed it out. She took a 3D ultrasound my baby's nickname was Squiggly. So I nicknamed my first son Squiggly until we could figure out his name, although I knew I wanted him to be a junior. And then we nicknamed my second son Wiggly because I wanted him to have a similar name on my little app. So once we got to the end of my pregnancy where I was looking like a balloon, I kind of quit with everything. I was so tired. Oh, I was very fortunate because towards the end of my pregnancy, it was very difficult for me to do things, and our bed was like super smushy, so I would like get stuck like in the middle of the bed where my husband would legit have to like roll me over so that I can even get out of bed. And towards the end, I couldn't even sleep lying down. I couldn't breathe. When I tell you that my belly was so big, like I was huge, so I couldn't really breathe, and I had a lot of acid reflux like towards the last week of my pregnancy. I couldn't breathe. Like I just had this like this weight smushing all of my organs in my chest and my life. Couldn't breathe. My husband was really good to me when I was pregnant because he would like make sure that I was comfortable and like adjust my pillows and like adjust my life before he even did anything for himself. So I was very fortunate that my husband was like there when I needed him the most because I couldn't breathe, I couldn't walk, I couldn't So towards the end of my pregnancy, I was exhausted. And I feel like every pregnancy is super different because my first and my second pregnancy were, when I say super different, like completely different, but every pregnancy is super different. And my first pregnancy was overall phenomenal. Like I had such a wonderful experience with my first pregnancy, and wait till you hear my labor story. It's unlike any labor story you will ever hear. But my first pregnancy was amazing. I can't complain. It was literally smooth sailing until that last week when I was just so done. And I gave birth at 39 weeks and a day. And I knew from the beginning when they gave me that due date, he was supposed to be born July 31st. And I was like, he's not going to be born on July 31st. And I knew that I was not going to make it until July 30th. I just knew it. And I knew that it wasn't going to be by much, but I knew that I wasn't going to make it to the 30th because I started laboring on the 24th. So when I started laboring, I knew that I was going into labor. I knew that I was going to have the baby. I tell you, a mother's intuition beats everything because I just knew. I don't know. I couldn't even begin to tell you how I knew when the baby was going to come, but I just knew that the baby was going to come that day. So mother's intuition is a very, very strong thing from the beginning. I was so excited to be pregnant. I think it has a lot to do with your mindset. The mind is such a powerful thing. Like if you tell yourself every day, oh my God, I feel so sick. 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 Eventually, you're going to convince yourself that you're sick. Or if you tell yourself every day, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, eventually you're going to get in your head and you're not going to be able to do it. So you need to stay mentally and physically aware of your capabilities and try to talk yourself into a bigger game. So like pregnancy, it's exhausting. Your body hurts. You're growing a human being, for Christ's sakes. Like, you're entitled to feel a certain way because your body is literally changing to make space for this invader in there that he's just coming and is gonna squish the crap out of your organs and make your pelvis ginormous and then make your hoo-ha grow like, yeah, like really big. So you're entitled to be tired, to be cranky, to be crabby, but you shouldn't just keep that in your mind all the time. Like, think positive thoughts. Think, I can do this. I'm gonna wake up. It's another day. This is amazing. My pregnancy is amazing. This is gonna be smooth sailing. And I say that only because both of my pregnancies were not as bad as they could have been, because I had a coworker that legit threw up every single day of her pregnancy. She was throwing up every single day. She was younger than me, but I don't know what it was, but she was throwing up until the day she gave birth, basically, because she was throwing up almost every day. We were pregnant at the same time. So, oh my goodness, I could not imagine. I would see her and I would just feel so bad because I'm over here with my big old belly, my second pregnancy, and she was just she was so tired and she was just throwing up and she couldn't keep anything down. And I was like, oh, I felt so bad for her. But my first pregnancy was really, really good. And I thank God for that, because I don't know, it's so exhausting already to be pregnant, to have to deal with all the pregnancy symptoms. Like, your whole body just becomes this huge, ginormous place for your baby to inhabit. So I just wanted to take an opportunity and kind of let you guys know what my experience was with my first pregnancy, and just let you guys know that it was such an amazing experience. So overall, after labor and delivery and everything, definitely got to stay tuned for that video, because my labor and delivery was intense the first time around. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for you guys to see what I went through with my labor and delivery. It was like intense. And I don't mean to sound braggy, because I know that a lot of women don't have a good experience with their pregnancies, but I was very, very fortunate, very, very fortunate to have such a great pregnancy the first time around. And I think it was just the excitement of being a first time mom, and the not knowing what was gonna come after, but to know that I was gonna have this tiny little human that I get to raise like my own way, and raise him to be a good and a caring and a man, a real live mini man version of what's inside of my soul. And I was just so excited to find out that I was pregnant. I was so excited to find out that I was pregnant and share it with my husband. And the journey that we went through in my first pregnancy was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, because my husband and I had such a solid relationship. Well, have such a solid relationship. I don't want to make it sound like past tense, but we were so, I couldn't even begin to tell you how much more in sync my husband and I were when we found out that I was pregnant, when I was pregnant throughout my entire pregnancy. And we were so in sync, and it was so beautiful, and we had such a great time together in every way. Such a great time. How do you think that baby came out so fast? Huh? Oh, we just had such an amazing time with my first pregnancy. Hands down, the best experience of my life. Hands down, I would do it again 1,000,000 times if I could. Oh my gosh, I just loved it, and I'm so glad that I had an opportunity to share it with you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you're new, and stay tuned for my labor and delivery story for my first little one, Ricardo Isleny Erazo. Yes, Kal-El, like Superman, my son, badass, I know. My son's named after Superman. So stay tuned for my labor and delivery story. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.
I don't like this picture of him. It makes it look like he has a big lips like me. Pero, qué loco. Óyeme, pero escúchame. If he has a Dominican face, oh my gosh, I really don't like this picture.
Which one?
His face.
What?
They make his lips look ginormous.
Well, maybe they're like that.
No, he can't come out with lips like that.
Why not?
Because he's
Look at
gonna
your
look,
lips.
but he's gonna look really, really Dominican.
That's a good thing.